Courtland Simmons with you here at the CS Racing Report, and a program reminder: Fantastic Fillies Volume 2 of this installment has been released. Finally got that finished. If you haven't seen the Travers tribute sandwiched in between Volume 1 and Volume 2, check that out here at YouTube, where you can also view previous podcasts. Let's get into the probable field, the runners for the Kentucky Derby. Of course, it's rescheduled. Now, of course, it's going to be without fans, which I concur is the right choice to make. It was a bad idea to even try to attempt to go as far as have it at 150,000 fans and then reduce it down to 23,000. You still got 23,000 reasons to create issues that could be avoided versus what they're going to do, which is to run it without fans. Meantime, let's look at the probables for this field. As you can see, the list of horses that are likely to run on that first Saturday in September at Churchill Downs in Louisville, Kentucky. And when breaking this down, you really don't know exactly to the extent of what's going to happen until those post positions are drawn. Then we're going to have a little bit better idea of what we think could and couldn't happen in this edition of the Kentucky Derby. But when breaking down some of these horses pre-post position, Honor AP is considered to be the threat to the overwhelming favorite Tiz the Law, who was just impressive, ultra impressive in winning the Travers, to, of course, go along with his resume that also includes the Belmont Stakes and the Florida Derby and the Champagne Stakes as a 2-year-old. And Honor AP lost his last race. That was the Share Belief at Del Mar against a horse that a lot of people were saying was persona non grata in 1,000 words, trained by Bob Baffert, a 2-time graded stakes winner as a 2-year-old. Just didn't make the improvement after winning the Bob Lewis in a race in which he seemed to not really overwhelmingly impress. He got exploited when trying to press the pace against Austenitic in the San Felipe. Then he was terrible at Oaklawn Park in the Oaklawn Mile Stakes, one of the races on their pre-Derby program. And then he was dusted by Uncle Chuck, who, of course, has since been dusted by Tiz the Law and the Travers in the Los Alamitos Derby. But he turned around and beat Honor AP in that Share Belief at a mile and a 16th, 8.5 furlongs. A distance that probably Honor AP, it's a little short for him, but when you're a world-class horse in the making, you're supposed to beat these horses, which also included the Baffert-trained son of Courtland named Cezanne. And he didn't do that, but one thing to be considered, it was a prep. And so with that being said, the 1.25 miles that everybody seems to think that Honor AP will relish is looming in the headlights for the Derby. I personally didn't like his last race. You can lump Dr. Post in as well. In the Haskell, he was second in the Belmont Stakes in that sizzling hot edition with Tiz the Law winning that. And he just didn't improve the way that you would expect. Going the same route of ground when running against Austenitic in New York traffic at Monmouth, he belatedly closed ground. He was beaten 5 lengths clear, and it just didn't look like he was a horse. He didn't look like a horse that's going to improve for the Kentucky Derby. That very well could change. He may relish and thrive at Churchill Downs. It's one thing Bob Baffert always talks about, how they like the surface, how they turn the corner. He's going to have to turn a serious corner. He's going to have to be running extremely fast when doing it against the likes of Tiz the Law if he doesn't get in any kind of trouble, or if he's anywhere close and he's bottled up and he gets a chance to accelerate the way that we know in the devastating manner that he has displayed in all of his races. And that, of course, brings into question a lot of things that are traditionally true of the Derby, and that's the post position. How do you get to the first turn? Again, that post position is going to tell us where the speed horses, who are going to be sent anyway, to what extent, how fast will they go in the early going. If Authentic, who I expect to show speed, draws the outside beyond the 10-hole in that auxiliary gate, he and Caro and Art Collector, they're expected to show speed. If you look at the speed horses that I think potentially are going to show some turn of foot early on. Also, you could put Tiz the Law and Caro in the stalker position. I think that's where King Guillermo, who's coming in off a 4-month layoff, is going to be. That's something that I think may be a negative. He's been training very well, though, and he should have no excuse to not run a big race. Will it be good enough to be competitive in here? Soleil Volante comes in off a layoff. He was 10 days removed from an allowance win prior to running 6th in the Belmont, where he was nowhere to be found. He is a horse that has a tremendous kick. Will he have it, though, at a 1.25 miles? even if the pace setup is there. Everybody talks about how come from behind horses are better served with pace setups. If you don't have the acceleration, it doesn't matter what the pace is. And I think that's where Max Player has a little bit of a problem. Can he improve off his run in the Travers and thrive, as Bob Baffert will once again, to go with the Baffert statement, the theory of thriving at Churchill Downs? Will he like Churchill Downs and run a better mile and a quarter no matter what post he draws? He's going to have to improve. He's going to have to, upgrade his tactics. And again, even with the pace setup, is the acceleration, are the afterburners there? That's going to be the question, not only him and Dr. Post, but I also even question that with Honor AP. If he can run back to the way he did in the Santa Anita Derby, look out. But I'm kind of taking the position that Honor AP, I don't think he'll get a price. I don't think that's going to happen. So you're going to have to maybe wager in a way in which he's going to maybe bring down whatever numbers may come in with him included in a box exacta, superfecta, or trifecta. How is he going to affect that return handle if he hits? Because he may not get a big price, which goes to my point, which segues into the sleepers and the horses that you may get a price on. Number one, Austenitic is a horse everybody says can't go a mile and a quarter. I think he's training really well. I think if you believe, and I don't completely believe it, what Bob Baffert and Mike Smith, who wrote him that day, said that, and Mike Smith will be on Honor AP. He'll be switching mounts. Johnny Velasquez will ride Authentic. But if you believe that he was looking around and clowning off when he got that what seemed to be an insurmountable lead before New York traffic closed on him, then you're going to believe he's going to be focused in the Kentucky Derby. He's going to have to be, even though there's not going to be 150,000 fans in a position to distract him or 1,000 words, whom Bob Baffert calls a head case. So if you think he can go a mile and a quarter, he's going to show speed, but he's going to also have pace pressure. If he can rate, that may help him immensely if he has any opportunity to go a mile and a quarter. I think he's sneaky in here, but I don't have any problem with any of you folks out there, any bettors, experts who think that that mile and a quarter is going to be a problem. Same thing with New York traffic. Is the game up on him? He's a hard trier in 6 graded stakes. He's run very, very well up to the distance of a mile and an eighth. His pedigree says he can't go that far, but he's overachieved to run 9 furlongs, 8.5, 9 furlongs very well in these graded events, as well as a mile and 3/16 in the Louisiana Derby. So is the game up for New York traffic? You know he's going to be tactically in a position. And again, we'll find out to what extent he has a chance to establish position along with the others based on the post position. But I think Authentic and 1,000 words, and even to a certain degree, New York traffic's going to get a price. And I think 1,000 words, he's a bit of an enigma. We don't know if he really wants to go that far, even though he's by American Pharaoh's sire, Pioneer of the Nile, the runner-up in the 2009 Derby, Santa Anita Derby winner, who passed, of course, about a year ago, a year and a few months ago in 2019. When looking at another horse, Enforceable, who I really liked, even though he ran 5th in Louisiana Derby, very impressive in the Lecomte, has the pedigree, but, he, as one journalist once said, or recently said, he can run all day, but, how good is it? How well can he run? How fast is he? And he didn't look good in the Bluegrass after running not so well in the Louisiana Derby. So now the price that you think that was going to be connected or attached to him now is going to elevate itself. And so Enforceable is definitely going to be 20 to 1, 30 to 1. Maybe the odds go down a little bit. It'll be based on how heavy a favorite Tiz the Law is and how the other horses will fall in from a wagering standpoint. But we're going to break down to a further degree how these horses, how the whole Kentucky Derby may unfold once those post positions come in right here at the CS Racing Report.